Okay, make sure you turn to page 214 in your Origo math book. Today we're going to be looking at identifying examples and non-examples of 1/2, 1/4, and 1/8. And we're going to be using a strip to help us figure that out. So for example, these are strips to help us identify fractions. The first question asks us, which strip of paper shows 1/8 shaded, and how do you know? For example, what I like to do is go through each strip and label. Labeling is always going to help us identify a fraction. So when I go through, I'm going to label 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 total parts, which is going to be my denominator because that lets me know how many total parts are in my strip. I also have only one part shaded, so I'm going to put a 1 on the top as my numerator because that tells me how many parts are shaded, so I know this cannot be my answer. Next, I'm going to label my next strip. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I also have 8 parts, but I can't really complete this fraction because if I take a look, my first part is bigger than the rest of my parts. In order to have a fraction, I had to have all equal parts. They all have to be the same size. So this one as well is not going to be my answer. So we're going to check the last one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 equal parts, which makes my denominator. And I have 1 part shaded. So I have 1/8, and that's exactly what's asking me. 1/8 is right there. My 2 parts would already be different sizes. So what I can do is I could always look and fold my paper and take a look at where it's folded and then move it again. So if I did it there, I can kind of measure where my next one would be. So that kind of shows me they're all about the same size now. So I'd have 1, 2, 3. That does not give me 4 equal parts. So therefore, I already don't have 4 as my denominator because that is what it's telling me. 1/4 tells me my 4 would be my denominator. Right now I only have 3 because I have 3 equal parts and 1 part out of my 3 are shaded. So my fraction would be 1/3. I want 1/4. So this does not show 1/4 shaded. Okay, now let's go ahead and go down to number 1. It says, color 1 part in each strip, then loop the strips that show 1/2 shaded. So I'm looking for 1/2. I also know that 1/2 is going to be 1 in the numerator and 2 in the denominator. I'm going to have 2 equal parts and 1 part could be shaded. So if I wanted to, I have 1, 2, and if I have 1 part shaded, are those 2 parts equal? They're not equal, so I know that that cannot be my answer. Now I'm going to move on to the second one. I have 1, 2. If I shade 1 part, these are equal, so this could be my answer. Yes, I have 2 parts and they're equal, so that is a correct answer. I have 1 part, 2 part. Are they equal? Yes, they're equal. That's another correct answer. Now I have 1, 2, 3. I already have 3 parts, but I only need 2 equal total parts. So So this is not my answer. Now remember, if you need to hear the directions or exactly how I explain it again, you can always rewind this video to help you. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at number 2. Number 2 says color one part in each strip, then loop the strips that show 1/4 shaded. So I have to color one part, then I have to circle one that shows 1/4 is shaded. Okay, so first I'm going to label. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to shade 1 out of the 4. Does this show 1 out of 4 shaded? Yes, I have 4 equal parts, which I labeled, and if I had to shade 1, I would have 1/4 shaded. So that is correct. Now let's move on to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 equal parts, and if I were to shade one of those 5 parts, I'd have 1/5. This is 1/4. This is what 1/4 would look like in fraction form. They give it to us in word form, but this is also fraction form. 1/5 does not match 1/4, so this cannot be my correct answer. Go on to the next one. I have 1, 2, 3. I already know that this one cannot be my answer because all of my parts are different sizes. In order to have a fraction, it has to have all equal parts. So this cannot be my correct answer. The last one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 total parts. They all look equal. If I shade 1, then I have 1 in my numerator. If I have 1/4, does that look the same as 1/4? Yes. So this can also be my answer. Okay, now let's go ahead and move on to number 3. Number 3 says to color one part, then loop the strips that show 1/8. So 1/8 can also say 1/8 in fraction form. So now, just like we did with number 2 and number 1, we're going to label each strip first and then shade one part like it asked us. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 parts. They are all equal. If I shade 1, I have 1/8, 1/8. It is the same. So that would be a correct answer. Let's go to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 equal parts. If I shade 1, my fraction would be 1/6. That is not equal 1/8. So that cannot be my correct answer. Next, I have 1/2. Or 1, 2. I have 2 parts. They are not equal parts. So that already tells me right there that that cannot be my answer. Last, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 total parts. If I shade one part, I will have 1 on my numerator. Does 1/8 equal 1/8? Yes. So this last strip is a correct answer. Lastly, the step ahead is what you're doing on your own, and this is what you're going to upload a picture of into your assignment. I do not need any other part of your assignment. I only need a picture of this part here on the bottom. So you're going to write yes or no to answer the question. Then fill the strip with ones blocks to test your prediction. Do you think that 1/8 of this strip is shaded? So think about how we solved. Think about how we solved number 1, number 2, and number 3. Think about the steps I took to check if it matched the fraction. So show your work, write yes or no in the box, take a picture of this part only, and upload it into the assignment. please make sure that the picture is nice and clear before you submit your assignment.